Developing right now on Morning News Now, a violent exchange in the Middle East. Overnight, Iran launching a barrage of airstrikes, hitting a hospital in southern Israel as Israel strikes another key target in Iran's nuclear program. Here at home, President Trump weighing whether to bring the U.S. into the conflict.
I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction.
Meanwhile, in Gaza, more than 100 people killed in just the last day. We will bring you the latest. Also this morning, reaction to a Supreme Court ruling on medical care for transgender youth. How the decision to uphold a ban in Tennessee could impact cases nationwide. Developing this morning, more springtime storms with millions of people in their path following several days of severe weather in parts of the East Coast. We are tracking the system and also dangerous heat in the Southwest. And showing support even in divisive times. This Juneteenth holiday comes as diversity and inclusion initiatives are under threat. How some businesses are stepping up as others pull back. And look who is here with us again this morning.
Twice as nice, Savannah. So nice to see you this morning.
Thanks for being with us again.
Let's do it again, shall we?
We shall. That's
I'm Sam Buck, in for Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks so much for being here. We're going to get started this morning in the Middle East, where the conflict between Israel and Iran appears to be ramping up as it reaches its 1-week mark. In Israel, paramedics say there are at least 25 casualties this morning after Iranian missiles struck an area near Tel Aviv. And in the south, at least 3 people were injured after a strike hit a hospital. Iranian officials say the target was a military site nearby.
So overnight, the Israeli military says it continued to strike locations key to Iran's goal of developing nuclear weapons, including the site of an inactive nuclear reactor near the city of Arak, south of Tehran. Meanwhile, President Trump is weighing his options, including the U.S. potentially entering the conflict.
I have ideas as to what to do, but I haven't made a final. I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change. I mean, especially with war. Things change with war. It can go from one extreme to the other.
On a knife's edge right now, Matt Bradley is joining us this morning along with Monica Alba. We're going to be getting analysis as well. Matt, I want to start with you on the ground, though. Let's begin by talking about these exchanges overnight. For a long period of time, it seemed like Iran was talking a lot about its effectiveness or trying to strike in the heart of Tel Aviv, but hadn't had much success. What are you seeing on the ground this morning?
That's right. Well, we've had a reprieve for the last couple of days. There were no deaths for more than 48 hours, well more than that. And actually, just this morning was the first time we've really seen any serious injuries in just the past couple of days. It had looked as though the Iranian offensive, the Iranian reprisal attacks against Israel was kind of tapering off. Now it looks as though that's no longer the case. And in fact, just last evening, the Israeli officials had been saying that they were going to be loosening some of the restrictions on public gatherings and things like that, normal day-to-day life stuff. We don't know whether that's still going to stand. But we just heard this morning from an Israeli military official. He said that the Israelis have so far taken out about 200 Iranian missile launchers. He said that that is about 2/3 of the number of launchers that remain. But as he said, they can still hit us, and we're still seeing that today with more ballistic missiles coming in, and we can probably expect more and more. He also mentioned that strike at that nuclear water plant. And now this is something that had been decommissioned, but he said that they had heard, the Israelis had heard, that there were plans to use it to enrich plutonium. Now, up until now, it's been mostly uranium in the Iranian nuclear enrichment program. He was saying that plutonium is an essential ingredient, and the Israelis understood that this facility that was hit overnight was going to be used for plutonium. Guys.
So, Matt, Israel says these attacks are this effort to stop Iran from producing nuclear weapons, as Sam mentioned. Overnight, the Israeli military said they had some success in that regard, that the IAF struck a nuclear weapons development site, also an inactive nuclear reactor. But tell us, in the context of Iran's nuclear program, what this is doing. How damaging are these attacks, and what does this mean broadly for their program?
Well, it's a great question because the attacks against the nuclear program have been the centerpiece of this entire campaign since it started last Friday, nearly a week ago. But the fact is that there's been a lot of analysis and speculation that it's unclear, despite this huge bombardment, just how much damage Israel has done to Iran's nuclear program. We know that the facility at Natanz, which is Iran's main facility, took the brunt of the beating, and we understand from the IAEA, the UN's nuclear watchdog, that it's quite possible quite likely, really, that the centrifuges and enrichment mechanisms underground at that facility were badly damaged in the attack, even though it doesn't sound as though Israeli attacks actually penetrated the earth and hit the underground part of the facility. So if that's the case, that could set back that nuclear effort. But there still is that final question about the Fordo facility, a smaller facility that's buried deeper into a mountain. That is the one that the Israelis want the United States to participate in destroying, using some of these GBU-57 bombs, the mother of all bombs, the huge ordnance that dig into the ground and can actually hit into a facility like that and destroy its nuclear weapons. It might take more than one of those huge weapons to do it, but this is the big question right now, and the one that Donald Trump is mulling over.
Right, because, Matt, there's no guarantee, even if these bunker busters were deployed, that it actually would decimate Fordo, right? That seems to be an open question. But while we have you also, can you shed a little bit of light as to what's going on? The latest from Gaza, apparently it's been one of the deadliest weeks for Palestinians just trying to get food aid there. So according to local health officials, more than 140 people have died just in the last 24 hours. Why does this simple distribution of food continue to result in such loss of life?
Yeah, and this has been hugely controversial, even as we're seeing this Iran conflict going on. You know, the new system is backed by a U.S.-backed group called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and this group has been controversial for its methods and for its affiliations. It's been suspected of having ties to the Israelis, to the extent that the Israelis might even control it entirely. Again, it's unclear. The Israeli government has denied that they're funding this organization, but aid groups have said that they refuse to work with it, and they say that its independence has been compromised and that it should not be the one distributing food if it's doing so on behalf of the United Nations, on behalf of the Israeli government. They're saying international institutions and advocacy groups like the United Nations, they should be the ones who are distributing food as a sort of neutral arbiter. Now, whether or not this is going to continue, it looks as though it's set to continue. There's no other way to get food into Gaza at the moment, but this is by all means a very, very dangerous setup. There are only 4 aid distribution points right now operating in the Gaza Strip by this Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and regularly we see acts of violence. Now, the Israelis have said that it's Hamas who are firing at the people who are waiting in line for food. Now, we've heard from Palestinians, ordinary people who've been waiting in line for food, and they say that it is the Israelis time and time again. So, again, Gaza's very difficult to discern exactly what's going on.
Tragic from every angle, certainly. Matt, thank you very much.
We're now joined by NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba. Monica, good morning. Of course, the big question waking up this morning is, will the United States enter this conflict in this more official way, actually taking aim, as Sam was just discussing with Matt, at this particular nuclear facility with this particular type of bomb? I mean, at the top of the show, we saw, he told reporters yesterday he may do it, he may not do it. We saw this convening of his team yesterday in the Situation Room. What is the latest right now on where the president stands when it comes to making a decision on that front?
Well, Savannah, I expect he will continue to huddle with some of his top national security advisors today, and they'll continue to be monitoring this in real time before there is a final decision. And sometimes the president does like to be very cryptic in his language. He was obviously doing that a little bit yesterday, but he also really wanted to engage with reporters and talk a little bit about his thinking. And it seemed as of yesterday that many options still remained on the table. But here's a little bit more window into how he's approaching this big decision. Listen.
I don't want to get involved either, but I've been saying for 20 years, maybe longer, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I've been saying it for a long time. And I think they were a few weeks away from having one. And they had to sign a document. I think they wish they signed it now. And they want to meet, but it's a little late to meet, but they want to meet. And they want to come to the White House. They'll even come to the White House. So we'll see.
And the president made that claim about Iranians wanting to come to Washington several times. Iranian officials, for their part, have strongly denied that, saying they wouldn't, quote, come to grovel at the gates of the White House.
So, Monica, it feels almost like it's a bit of a moving target here. No enrichment at all now seems to be the White House's posture. Iran's supreme leader rejecting President Trump's call for an unconditional surrender, whatever that entails, warning that U.S. military intervention would be met with, quote, irreparable damage. So at the same time, there's this overriding question about intelligence, right? What the White House has actually seen in terms of how close Iran is to enriching enough uranium to have a bomb at its disposal. What more can you tell us about the intel?
Yeah, because this is a really complex concept in that there is different thinking about how close Iran might be to having a nuclear weapon, depending on how you interpret what it means to have enough uranium. But then you have to think about the idea of having enough of that, but then actually building the weapon and then having to test the weapon as a way to talk about whether they would be ready to use the weapon. And as far as the president says, he believes they were a few weeks away. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said it was more like potentially months, but that it could be by the end of the year. And so that has really been a moving target and a moving question as well. But the U.S. intel community has been pretty fixed on saying they did not believe that Iran was close to actually having this weapon, but that they were very, very close to having the material needed to accomplish that. So that is what has led to really this rift between the president and his own director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, guys.
Monica, also, I want to get more information on that and just sort of the relationship between the two right now. What role is she playing right now in this conflict? It sort of feels like she has fallen out of favor with the president. People who are around the situation seem to be indicating that as he weighs these options on Iran. This is the person, though, right, who's across every intelligence agency, seemingly should be at the center of any decision, any discussion like this. What's the latest that we know here?
Yeah, it's significant because it was her comments in March during testimony to lawmakers where she said she didn't believe Iran was as close to being able to have a nuclear weapon. And then when the president was asked about that just a couple of nights ago on Air Force One, he really went out there and said, I don't care what she said. I still maintain my position. Now, NBC News has a really long piece of reporting on NBCnews.com that everybody should check out that really delves into this and talks to some of her allies who say they know that this was something that has certainly angered some people in the West Wing, this divide. But clearly, for now, she has been able to keep her job, though she has been kept out of the loop on some key meetings on this, including the one at Camp David, where they first laid out some of these decisions about what to do. And that was notable and raised a lot of eyebrows as well. Her people say it was because she was on National Guard duty that weekend. Sam and Savannah.
Monica Alba covering a lot for us. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to jump into some more analysis here on the conflict. Let's bring in Will Todman. He is a senior fellow in the Middle East program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Will, good morning. You know, this obviously evolves really by the hour. It's been a week now since we first heard from sources about Israel's plans to attack Iran and President Trump's initial opposition to them, and this whole pendulum has changed, right? What moved the needle here? Trump's frustration with lack of a deal, a nuclear deal with Iran, Prime Minister Netanyahu's insistence on attacking Iran with or without U.S. support. There's a lot of theories floated out there. What do we know?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I think it's both of those things. I think President Trump really wanted to give diplomacy a chance and instructed his administration to engage in direct talks with the Iranians. We saw 5 rounds of talks. There was a 6th that had been scheduled to take place this past Sunday. But I think he grew increasingly frustrated that the Iranians were not willing to make the concessions that he wanted. He saw Iran in a historically weak position, given the string of losses that its partners and proxies have faced across the region over the past year, thanks to Israeli operations. And I think he was expecting them to fold more quickly. They were very insistent on continuing to have the ability to enrich uranium. The Iranians say that that's their national right. And so I think he grew frustrated that they weren't willing to compromise on that. But then, of course, we have also seen an intense lobbying campaign from Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who has never trusted Iran in these negotiations and tried to convince President Trump that a military operation against Iran's nuclear facilities could destroy its ability to build that bomb that we've been talking about. And I think over the first 24 hours or so of this war last Friday, I think President Trump was really impressed with the success that the Israelis were able to achieve. They killed a huge number of the most senior Iranian military officials. They killed a lot of senior nuclear scientists. And I think that impressed President Trump, and he began to explore these other options.
Will, I'm also wondering if you could sort of just put in context exactly what it would mean for the U.S. to get involved, like how serious that step would be, but then also what the potential fallout is here, as we've heard from Iran's supreme leader, that any U.S. intervention would be met with irreparable damage. What could that look like?
So first, I think it's important to note that the US is already involved to some degree. Of course, it's been involved in helping to defend Israel against the salvos of missiles that Iran has fired at Israel. But also it's understood that the US has been sharing intelligence that has aided Israel in its operations. But I think the big milestone is whether or not the US actually conducts that bombing campaign on the Fordo nuclear facilities. And as Matt previously said, it's really believed that it's only the US bomb, this 30,000 pound bomb, that would be able to stand a chance of destroying that. But this is a really risky operation to attempt. This bomb has not been used in a conflict situation before, and it's not exactly clear just how many nuclear facilities Iran has, if there could be an additional one. And so I think it's very difficult to be sure that this would actually destroy Iran's nuclear facility completely. And of course, Iran has a host of options to retaliate. I think for the US, the bases that it has in the region and the troops that are deployed there would almost certainly come under attack from Iran in retaliation. And that is a real concern. But also Iran could take other steps that could disrupt global energy trade through the Straits of Hormuz.
Entanglement would obviously be layered, and obviously you're looking at a situation where we don't know how this is going to play out. But what is the U.S. objective in all of it remains front and center. Will Todman, thank you so much for joining us with that analysis this morning.
Great context. We appreciate it. Well, in economic news, the Federal Reserve held interest rates steady. That was expected. This was yesterday. The central bank signaled that 2 rate cuts by the end of the year were still on the table.
As you said, expectations from yesterday, Fed keeps those rates on hold amid expectations also of higher inflation and lower economic growth. So that's the problem down the road here. Fed Chair Jerome Powell saying that he sees inflation really picking up over the summer, Savannah, as President Trump's tariffs work their way down to the consumer.
Ultimately, the cost of the tariff has to be paid, and some of it will fall on the end consumer. We know that because that's what businesses say. That's what the data say from past. So we know that's coming, and we just want to see a little bit of that before we make judgments prematurely.
Joining us now with more on this is Yahoo Finance senior reporter Ali Canal. Ali, thanks very much for joining us in the studio this morning. Good to see you. So just help us understand this latest decision. We both said it was expected, but just tell us a little bit more.
Expected. So Fed is on hold for now, and they've been on hold since January, meaning that they are not raising or lowering interest rates. The last time we saw the Fed take action was in December. They cut interest rates. In 2024, they slashed interest rates by a total of 100 basis points, or 1%. But at this point, the fact that they are remaining on hold, like you just heard from Jerome Powell, they are prioritizing inflation at a time when there's just a lot of unknowns, a lot of uncertainty. We have the back and forth trade developments with the U.S. We do not know how tariffs will impact the consumer over the long term. He did say that over the summer, we should continue to see that impact show up in the data. And the sources that I've been speaking with have said probably around July is when we're actually going to see some of that impact. And you guys were just talking about the Israel-Iran conflict. That could have a ripple effect on inflation. We saw a spike in oil prices that has trickled through into gas prices. So there's just a lot of uncertainties right now. So the Fed just wants to stay on hold, assess the situation, and then make a decision.
Right, because there are so many possible sources of driving up inflationary realities, right? Whether that's tariffs, whether it's an oil market that suddenly becomes much more expensive. Is it realistic, Ali, to think that rates might be cut later in the year? Or what are you expecting? What are we expecting to see?
Well, the majority of Fed officials still see 2 rate cuts by the end of this year. But what was interesting is that there was more dispersion when it comes to the number of folks that think we are going to stay on hold. So 7 Fed officials think that we will have no cuts this year, that we will continue to remain on hold. Interest rates will be elevated over the foreseeable future. 8 officials think we will see 2 cuts, and then 2 officials only think we're going to have 1 cut. So it seems like there's this gap between what the Fed thinks is going to be the priority moving forward. And Jerome Powell was asked about this, why we saw such divergence among some of those officials. And he said that each member is evaluating a different type of risks. There's the inflation part of the equation. There's GDP growth. If that slows, if that has a trickle-through effect into the labor market and we see a spike in the unemployment rate, then the Fed would also want to lower rates. So it just depends on how the economic data shakes out.
What does this mean for us at home, our wallets thoughts as we think about the rest of the year? We know that's where interest rates are at. You're thinking about buying a house, selling a house. What should we keep in mind?
Well, unfortunately, that means borrowing costs are going to stay high for now. So you just said mortgage rates. That has an impact on the Federal Reserve rate decision. We also have the loan you pay on your car, credit card bills. So all of that is going to remain elevated. However, if you are a saver, if you're invested in a money market account or a high yield savings account, you can benefit from some of these higher rates. We aren't as high as we were back in 2023, 2024, when the Fed was aggressively raising interest rates. They have cut since that time. However, we are still above 4% for some banks out there, for some credit card companies, so you can still take advantage.
Indeed. So a time to save, certainly, but if you're trying to buy a house right now, there's just so little movement on the market because no one knows what's going to happen with the rates.
And you're going to hold on to that low mortgage rate if you've got one.
Exactly, because shortly after the pandemic, we had interest rates near zero. So no one wants to sell their home and take on a higher mortgage.
Don't remind us.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Ali, thank you so much for that insight.
Of course, thanks.
Well, in a stunning verdict yesterday, a Massachusetts jury found that Karen Reed was not guilty in her retrial on murder charges in a case that absolutely transfixed the country. She stood accused of killing her police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, with her car on a cold winter night. Now, emotions ran high yesterday as the judge announced the verdict. You see the crowds there erupting in cheers, supporting her from outside the courtroom, ending a nearly 4-year-long legal battle. NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda was outside the courthouse as this happened.
Karen Reed walking out of court with hand over heart and a major win in her murder trial redo.
I just want to say 2 things. Number 1 is I could not be standing here without these amazing supporters who have supported me and my team financially and, more importantly, emotionally for almost 4 years. And the second thing I want to say is no one has fought harder for justice for John O'Keefe than I have.
She was accused of hitting her police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, with her car in a drunken argument and leaving him to die in the cold back in 2022. But her defense has insisted there was no collision and Reed was framed. And after 3.5 days of deliberating, the jury of 7 women and 5 men agreed to acquit her of the most serious charge.
Murder in the second degree. What say you? Is the defendant at the bar guilty or not guilty? Not guilty.
Also clearing her of manslaughter and fleeing the scene of a deadly accident, prompting hugs and tears inside the courtroom. Cheers even heard from crowds gathered outside.
So say you, Mr. Foreman? So say you all?
The jury did convict Reed of a lesser charge, operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol, after considering nearly 8 weeks of testimony and mountains of material, including crash demos, vehicle and phone data, and Reed's own words.
I mean, I didn't think I hit him, but could I have clipped him?
Reed acknowledging she shouldn't have been driving the night O'Keefe died.
I felt like I was buzzed.
Her defense tried to point the finger at law enforcement, but in a new interview with Dateline, the lead investigator fired for his misconduct on the case, now speaking out.
What do you want to say to anyone who believes the narrative, the defense's narrative, that you are corrupt, that you framed Karen Reed?
I laugh because it's such a ridiculous accusation. There's not one piece of evidence or fact to support that, because it did not happen. I would never do something like that.
Did you frame Karen Reed?
Absolutely not.
This is the second time a jury has deliberated Reed's fate since her first trial last year ended in a mistrial.
I'm declaring a mistrial in this case.
The case since garnering intense public interest both online and in person, with a sea of supporters in pink erupting in cheers at word of the jury's verdict.
It feels wonderful because we got a non-guilty verdict. It feels great. It's worth everything.
Every minute of travel, every penny we paid to get here was worth it for the verdict.
But a much more somber tone from O'Keefe's loved ones. His mother had testified in the retrial.
I hear Karen Reed yell, "Peg, is he dead? Is he dead, Peg? Peg, is he dead?"
Some of those at the center of the case who testified against Reed, writing in a statement, "Today we mourn with John's family and lament the cruel reality that this prosecution was infected by lies and conspiracy theories," going on to say the result is a devastating miscarriage of justice. Karen Reed was sentenced on the spot to a year of probation for driving under the influence, a far cry from what prosecutors had been hoping for in this case. Karen Reed could have faced up to life in prison if convicted of the top charge, second-degree murder. Back to you.
The end of a years-long legal saga there. Thank you, Emily.
Well, this morning, transgender rights activists in the U.S. are taking stock after a major setback. The Supreme Court upheld a Tennessee law yesterday that bans gender transition medical care for minors. And nearly half the country has similar bans in place. Reporter Lolita Lopez from NBC Los Angeles has the reaction from some of the LGBT community in West Hollywood.
But although it might feel like your country has turned their back on you, that you just gained an enormous amount of aunties and uncles.
Queen Victoria Ortega sends a message to transgender young people after the Supreme Court upheld a Tennessee law restricting gender transition care for young people.
This opens the door to set the precedent of criminalizing not only parents, but kids and physicians.
Her comments come from experience, having transitioned at age 16 with parents who supported the decision. The 6-3 Supreme Court ruling is likely to have an impact on the 24 other states that have already enacted laws similar to the one in Tennessee, which bars gender transition surgery, puberty blockers, and hormone therapy for youth. Chief Justice John Roberts writing for the majority that the case carries scientific and policy debates about the safety, efficacy, and propriety of medical treatments in an evolving field, adding the Equal Protection Clause does not resolve these disagreements. Attorneys supporting gender-affirming care say some young people can still undergo medical procedures as long as they do not identify as transgender.
Why can cisgender young people receive the treatment and transgender young people not? And the difference is their sex. That's sex discrimination.
In her dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor writes, by retreating from meaningful judicial review exactly where it matters most, the court abandons transgender children and their families to political whims. Politics may certainly play a role with more Democratic states like California allowing for the care. The ruling does not affect states that do not have bans, though one of the largest providers of care for transgender youth, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, recently announced the closing of its Trans Youth Center in July. Others say there are services still available.
We have a real commitment to working with our partners here in California and across state lines to ensure that transgender children, youth, and families continue to have access to this life-saving service.
Our thanks to Lolita Lopez for that report.
No doubt. It's been a little turbulent, if you've noticed, on the weather front.
Yeah, no kidding.
The East Coast is at risk again for some severe weather today. We got some details for you for your morning News Now weather.
Yes, Michelle Grossman's here. Michelle, even here in the city, just weather whiplash.
I know, and so soupy and humid today, and that's going to be the target for some severe weather today. So we have the humidity in place. We have the warmth in place. We're going to see those temperatures rise. All we need is that lifting mechanism, and that's going to be the cold front that's moving through later on today and through the evening hours. And we could see some pretty heavy rainfall leading to flash flooding. Certainly could see some airline delays as well. So if you're flying out today, you want to call ahead, especially later on this afternoon and evening. Right now, we're looking at a cluster of storms moving through portions of the Tennessee Valley, some rain throughout the Great Lakes. This is all moving off to the east, and we will see the threat for severe weather. So we looked at it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now Thursday, targeting the East Coast. 64 million Americans under the risk for severe storms. That includes winds that could gust to 60 miles per hour. That causes damage on its own. Damaging hail, a tornado or two is possible. Notice these colors here. So where you see the orange, that's an enhanced risk, 3 out of 5 on the severity scale. That would be the likeliest spot for seeing some severe storms. And that's along some major cities, New York City, Philadelphia, D.C., down to Richmond, but also the yellow here. So now we're talking New England all the way down to portions of the Mid-Atlantic, Burlington, Albany, Roanoke, Charlotte. Could see some strong storms, too, as we go throughout later part of the day once we get that daytime heating going. Now, we talked about the airports because we are possibly going to see some delays in Detroit, Charlotte, Atlanta, and really likely to see delays in Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, D.C., especially even with those winds howling at 60 miles per hour with any of those storms moving through. Flash flood risk. Also, we're looking at hourly rainfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour. The ground is so saturated. We've had so much rain, so it's not going to take much to cause some flooding, and that's certainly something we're going to watch, too. Big story today. Another big story is the heat out in the Southwest once again, and really heat overspreading most of the country. We're going to really warm it up over the next several days of fire risk throughout portions of the West and Southwest, too. Dangerous heat for 47 million people, and 47 million people are under alerts. We have more than that under some heat today. We're looking at heat warnings, heat watches, heat advisories. Where you see that purple. We're looking at a heat watch. Pink is in the heat warning, and heat advisory is orange. This is why we have that jet stream lifted so high in the north. And guys, we're going to see temperatures into the 90s for several days in the Northeast, and we could have our first heat wave. The Southwest, some spots could see temperatures up to 160, so nearing 120.
116.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said 160.
I thought you said 160.
I'm glad you clarified that. I'm glad you clarified that.
Like,
they always say we don't get it quite right, but that's wrong. 160.
We think you get it right, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you in a bit.
Much more coming here on Morning News. Now, later this hour, a significant shift, Savannah, in where younger generations get their news, as social media now officially claims the top spot. More on that trend that renews concerns about who you can trust.
Up first, though, after the break, an explosive end to a routine test for SpaceX, with the company saying after this failure resulted in this fireball. Be right back.
The other day when they... Whoa! Whoa! What?
That's not good.
No! Oh my God.
So the visuals are obviously out of this world, Savannah. That feels like an oh my God. That was so intense there. Overnight, a SpaceX rocket sending a massive fireball into the Texas sky. I'm glad I got a laugh out of you. After it exploded while getting ready for an engine test, SpaceX says that Starship 36's sudden explosion last night occurred after experiencing what they are calling a, quote, major anomaly, just ahead of a planned static fire test, which essentially means they fire all the engines to check them to make sure they're working properly. Apparently not. So far, no injuries have been reported, thankfully. The company says that all personnel were safe. There are no hazards to people who live in the area. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of the explosion.
What a video there. Thank you for that, Sam. Well, on the other side of the globe, Mother Nature has been producing explosions all her own. A massive volcano in Indonesia erupted several times this week, sending clouds of ash and smoke miles into the sky. Look at these images here. These mushroom-shaped ash clouds could be seen from nearly 100 miles away. This has led to evacuations, flight disruptions, and warnings of even more potential hazards. NBC News correspondent Maya Eaglin has more.
A striking plume of volcanic ash and smoke looming over Indonesia. The massive eruption soaring miles into the sky and blanketing nearby villages in volcanic debris.
The latest conditions we know per this morning is eruptions are still occurring, and the impacts of these eruptions include ashfall with stones.
In the shadow of the ominous mushroom cloud, visible for 100 miles around, authorities placing the area on high alert and evacuating villagers.
It was terrifying. There was fog and the smoke was red.
At an airport on the popular resort island of Bali, something not often seen on U.S. departure boards, dozens of flights canceled or delayed due to volcano. Travelers stranded in the airport for hours. Mount Liwotobi Laki-Laki is perched along the Pacific Ring of Fire, a chain of some of the most active volcanoes in the world. And Liwotobi in recent months dangerously restless, with an eruption last November killing 9 people, hurting dozens more, and forcing thousands to evacuate. So far, no casualties reported during this round of activity, but Indonesia's geologic agency warning nearby residents about possible rivers of lava that could be triggered by heavy rainfall. This year, volcanoes blowing up travel plans around the world. In Sicily 2 weeks ago, Mount Etna spewing ash and smoke, shutting down Catania Airport and sending nearby hikers scrambling for cover. Although earlier this year, skiers took to the slopes on the same volcano, racing the lava down the mountainside. And in Iceland, a volcanic eruption in April, forcing residents and tourists alike to evacuate. But even in this part of Indonesia, where volcanoes are part of everyday life, this eruption leaving residents shaken.
This is the first time I have seen an eruption this big.
In a land shaped by fire, nature showing it can still surprise and terrify. Maya Eaglin, NBC News.
All right, Maya, thank you. We're getting to more international news now, starting with Ukraine in mourning after Russia's deadliest attack on the capital this year.
That's right. NBC's Matt Bodner joins us with that and some other world headlines for us. Hey, Matt, good morning.
Savannah, Sam, good morning. The death toll from Russia's deadly missile and drone strike on Kyiv earlier this week has risen to 28, as Ukrainians Wednesday observed a day of mourning for those killed in the attack. This was the deadliest to hit the capital this year. President Zelensky said Russia launched 440 drones and 32 missiles during the strike, which caused severe damage to a residential building. Search operations continue in the area around the building. Ukrainian officials say 27 sites across the country were damaged by this Russian attack. Moving along now to Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday ordered his security services to hunt down the gang responsible for a massive attack on a village in north-central Nigeria that killed 150 people at least. Tinubu visited the region where the attack took place, hoping to calm local residents and assure victims that there would be justice. The unidentified gang attacked the village overnight Friday, killing people as they slept and burned their homes. We'll wrap up this hour in Germany. Raccoons, a species that is not native to Germany, have taken over the city of Kassel in central Germany. Many local residents have embraced them, but the European Union classes the American animal as an invasive species. One local told The Guardian that you can't leave anything out in your garden since they'll come for it at night. The raccoons have no local predators, so they essentially have free reign of the city. A local resident said, quote, "We love them, but we also hate them." Raccoons were brought to Germany by the Nazi government in the 1930s for fur farming. That was the first time. But some of them escaped. And now we have this situation where they are spreading across Europe rapidly. Back to you guys.
We love them, but we also hate them.
How do you embrace a raccoon? That's my only question.
I know the fact that there's so much love. It must be because they're like novel and new to them.
The novelty of it.
They're very cute also, but they do transmit rabies. Just like newsflash on that.
Yeah, they might not know that. Thank you, Matt. Coming up, setbacks and backlash. This Juneteenth holiday coming at a time of uncertainty here in America over diversity and inclusion efforts.
So up next, how small businesses are stepping in while bigger corporations appear to be pulling back. You're watching Morning News Now.
Welcome back. Today is Juneteenth. It's a federal holiday celebrating the end of slavery here in the United States. But as diversity and inclusion initiatives are facing backlash across the country, some big corporations are pulling back on financial support for this month's Juneteenth celebrations. It follows a similar pattern we saw with Pride events. As NBC News correspondent Stephen Romo reports, some small businesses are now stepping in to help fill the funding gap.
This year, St. Louis Pride is not brought to you by Anheuser-Busch. Despite sponsoring the event for more than 30 years, the brewing company backing out of Pride Fest 2025 after Bud Light became a poster brand for Pride backlash 2 years ago.
Bud Light.
Instead, a smaller brewery bubbling up in what's becoming a more common story all around the U.S.
Our values don't change based on the political climate or based on who's in office. We want to do the right thing.
NBC News did not receive a response from Anheuser-Busch when we reached out for comment. But the company is not alone. Across the country, dozens of companies are stopping their funding of DEI initiatives and events, including NBC parent company Comcast, which did not renew its sponsorship of San Francisco Pride. Comcast declining to comment on SF Pride, but a spokesperson told us in April it was sponsoring other Pride events in California this year. NYC Pride, the largest in the country, also saying it has a budget shortfall of $750,000 due to a dip in corporate sponsors. Back in St. Louis, Pride organizer Marty Zuniga telling us earlier this month there's been a shift in the type of support they're getting.
We partner with these people year-round, and so when those phone calls weren't getting answered or returned as quickly and those emails went unread, it was scary.
He says the event had a $150,000 funding gap, so it turned to its community for support.
We had to reach out and start a grassroots campaign.
And the response? Overwhelmingly successful, thanks to first-time local sponsors like Four Hands Brewing.
People are just grateful that we're able to step in, and we can't fill the full shortfall of the marketing budget or the event budget for Pride St. Louis, but we're doing what we can.
And now it's not just Pride events taking a hit. Denver's Juneteenth Music Festival held over the weekend, normally a 2-day event, but this year scaled back to 1 after it says more than a dozen companies pulled support.
Do you know how much funding you had this year compared to years past?
At least 40% drop from in terms of corporate partners.
But despite that,
it was incredible.
Organizers saying the community stepped up.
We had over 200 individuals who made donations. We're so thankful for those people who helped push us and helped us get there.
Does it mean something different to get money from an individual instead of, say, a corporation?
I think it does. It really just helps define that the Juneteenth celebration that we host here in Denver is really kind of powered by the people.
The people banding together to fill the gap left behind by major corporations.
Our thanks to Stephen Romer for that report. Organizers tell NBC News they have not necessarily closed that funding gap, though. Here in New York City, Pride organizers are still down more than $700,000 from last year.
So for more on this, let's bring in Clint Smith. He is a staff writer for The Atlantic and the New York Times best-selling author of How the Word Is Passed, a reckoning with the history of slavery across America. The adapted version for young readers is going to be out in September. We are also thankfully joined by Professor Keisha Blaine. She teaches history and Africana studies at Brown University. She is the author of Without Fear, Black Women and the Making of Human Rights. That is also due out in September. Thank you both for joining us. Clint, I want to start with you first here, just talking about the mood on Juneteenth this year, right? There's a lot of things going on, the political climate that's quickly shifting. You know, Martin Luther King once sang, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. How do you see this year's Juneteenth in light of the political climate right now?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I think that this year, Juneteenth is more important than perhaps it's ever been. Juneteenth is at once a reminder of all that Black Americans had to suffer, that formerly enslaved people had to suffer through for years and years, for generations and generations. And even after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, and even after the 13th Amendment came into effect, there were still so many who did not have the opportunity to access freedom because it was purposefully and intentionally and violently withheld from them. And it is at the same time an opportunity for us to celebrate the freedom, the liberation, the emancipation of Black people, the way that Black people over the course of generations worked to ensure that they maintained, that they found their freedom. And so we have to hold both of those things at once. And I think in this political moment, we are reminded how freedom is precarious, how freedom is not guaranteed, how freedom is fragile, and that you have to be proactive in cultivating it and continuing to hold on to it and to foster it. And I think that reminder broadly for this political moment in which authoritarianism and fascism are rising all around us, that it is important to be reminded that we have to be proactive in the fight to maintain freedom.
Keisha, if you could just step back a little bit, and I know you're an expert here, give us a little bit of a history lesson, because this has only been this federal holiday for a few years now. Remind us what it is that people are celebrating today.
Yes, and thanks for having me. So when we're talking about Juneteenth, we're really talking about June 19th, 1865, and in particular, the day when enslaved people in Galveston, Texas, learned about their freedom. It's important to remember, of course, that the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed in 1863. And so to find out now, more than 2 years later, was a very difficult moment. It was, on the one hand, a moment of celebration to know that those who had been toiling and, sun up to sundown, those who had been working under inhumane conditions, that they would now be able to experience a liberation at the same time, to find out that they could have had that freedom, or did have that freedom at least, several years prior. It's bittersweet, because it's really justice delayed, or freedom delayed in that sense. And so this is really a commemoration of the day of June 19, 1865.
And yet, Clint, as you just said, freedom is precarious. So thinking about what we saw a little bit earlier in Stephen's story, what do you think is the significance of all this support that's pouring in right now from community members and smaller businesses, which are just sort of stepping up as big corporations, some of them, are feeling pressure from Washington and pulling back?
Yeah, I want to at once recognize that it is important that Juneteenth is a federal holiday, and that the sort of sanctioning of that holiday is a meaningful step, and it reflects the work of activists, especially Black activists in Texas, where Juneteenth originated over the course of decades and decades, and their work is what made this possible. At the same time, Juneteenth has never necessitated the sanctioning of the federal government in order to legitimize itself. Juneteenth has been celebrated by Black people and Americans more broadly for generations. Sometimes People couldn't come out of their homes to celebrate Juneteenth. They had to celebrate inside of their churches, inside of their homes, their basements, because they couldn't celebrate out in the world for fear of being violently attacked. And so what we know is that the whims of racial progress have always swung back and forth. And after 2020 and the Black Lives Matter movement, there was ostensibly a lot of progress in the way that we thought about American history, the way that we thought about the relationship between race and history. And then there was backlash, as there's always been through every moment of American history. And so I think that it is incredibly important for us to recognize that we don't need the federal sanctioning of this holiday in order for it to be legitimate. And I think the support that individuals are giving, that local businesses are giving, are reflective of the desire of so many millions of people to remember this holiday, to commemorate this holiday, and to celebrate this holiday, both for to mourn what was held from Black people and also to celebrate what Black people took for themselves.
Keisha, quickly, as we've touched on, as Sam was just mentioning, with this lack of funding from certain companies that had prior been supportive, are you at all concerned about the future of Juneteenth as a federal holiday?
I am. Of course, it's wonderful that it's a federal holiday, but in this particularly anti-DEI moment, in this political climate, we really cannot say that it's impossible for it to be rolled back. I mean, let's be honest, we're seeing so many things happen in the country that I think a lot of people certainly did not anticipate. So who knows what the future holds? I will say, to Clint's point, African Americans will continue to commemorate Juneteenth regardless of what happens.
It's definitely a conversation that will be continued. Clint, Keisha, thank you both so much for your time this morning. Well, coming up next, Savannah, it is a new kind of InfoWars that we are looking at right now. It's a bit of a spin on social media right now. Social media, suddenly our most trusted source. When we come back, a look at the shift that is fueling concerns about misinformation. Morning News Now. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. 200 men in North Texas got a surprise for Father's Day this year thanks to a prank their wives played on them.
We all know we will do exactly what our wives tell us to do. If you're wondering how this could happen, the result is going viral, getting over 10 million views online. Reporter Meredith Yeomans from our NBC News affiliate in Dallas shows us how the wives pulled it off.
I meet someone new every week.
St. Anne Catholic Parish in Coppell attracts people of all stripes. And apparently,
nice shirt, man.
Patterns too.
It adds a little bit of extra oomph to it, I think.
I saw a reel on social media that a small group did it. And I was like, oh, I bet we could do that.
The framework for Kristen Combo's polo prank began more than a week ago.
I pre-ordered 200 of the shirts.
Matching shirts dads like Michael Sherman would unwittingly wear Sunday.
On Father's Day, which was cool because it was a good excuse for the moms to give their dads the shirts to wear.
I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to wear it to Mass. And
it was top secret, under wraps.
They almost blew it. It was close.
We did. It was amazing.
And by they, I mean my 5-year-old.
He still hasn't got it yet.
The payoff began in the parking lot.
Oh, we all got to
when dads stepped out of their cars sporting the exact same look.
I was like, is there like an event going on? Like I couldn't quite figure out what it was for. And then the moment I walked into the courtyard, I was like...
The big reveal did not disappoint.
I love
it. Good job.
As I walked in, somebody goes, I knew this was you.
Seeing everybody, all of the dads have like the same realization kind of at the same time. And then just be like, all right, I guess we're going to go to church now.
Good morning. Happy Father's Day. It's a great, good-looking group of dads in all your sea green.
The coordinating congregation made for a colorful communion.
It was amazing.
And a Father's Day gift that keeps on giving.
Okay, our thanks to Meredith Yeomans for bringing this up story. I am just impressed by the wives that they have the power to say, wear that shirt, and they do. You said you would.
Of course, 100%
My husband would be like,
yeah.
why are you giving me this shirt?
My favorite part about this, though, was actually the khakis. It's not just the blue shirt. How many of them on their own decided to wear a khaki pants?
How many of them were with the same bottom half as well? That wasn't on the wives. All right,
that was gold. Thank you, Meredith. Stay with us. Morning News Now. We'll be right back after this. Well, as the airline industry continues to face widespread issues, the spotlight, Savannah, is staying focused on Newark Airport for understandable reasons. This following another brief outage at its air traffic control facility this last week.
Yeah, but less than 20 miles away from the airport, this is in Hasbrouck Heights, New Jersey, Gen Zers could become part of the solution. The Aviation Institute of Maintenance is training the next generation of technicians, and not a moment too soon. NBC's Ali Vitale has the story.
Look, we spend a lot of time, rightly, talking about shortages in air traffic control towers and then the close calls happening on tarmacs and in the skies because of them. But mechanics and technicians are also facing shortages, meaning more delays and cancellations for passengers. And that comes as Gen Z workers are increasingly looking to trade schools. It's at the intersection of those trends that we found this next story. Aviation's going through a rough patch, but you wouldn't know it here.
This is where a lot of action takes place.
The students at the Aviation Institute of Maintenance are some of the next generation of airline mechanics and technicians.
I'm an avionics technician. I focus more on the electrical portion of the planes. Long story short, I'm a college dropout.
A friend put AIM on Bianca's radar.
You're literally learning how to fix planes day to day, and then you get a license, and then you can go work on any aircraft here in the States. And I was like, wow.
Jason Pfaff, AIM CEO, sees that light bulb moment a lot.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things.
It's bolstered by a renewed spark in trade schools.
Gen Z is very interested in ROI. They are very sensitive to debt, and increasingly, as they look at trade school and as they look at a trade-oriented career, they are finding very compelling return on investment.
Time and money, without putting any numbers or anything. I would say my first year out of school, I doubled my investment than what I put into AIM as the program.
Like 24-year-old Bianca, Gen Z are increasingly looking outside traditional four-year colleges, which saw a roughly 15% drop in enrollment from 2010 to 2021. Trade school enrollment, however, is ticking up. DeKylan Jordan, the campus director here in Hasbrouck Heights, New Jersey, sees it firsthand.
There's a shift in interest from high school students, Gen Z now, and it's good for them to have those different options.
They're also training for a world that badly needs them.
Don't forget the injuries that sitting on the stand for 3 weeks like that.
Every day I see people retire, and there's really no technicians to fill those spots.
Last year saw more demand for maintenance workers than workers themselves. That gap's projected to grow by 2027 to a more than 24% shortfall, at least a 43,000 worker shortage. If I'm a passenger sitting on a plane and the pilot comes on and says, we're waiting for someone to come de-ice us, or we're waiting for someone to come and check a wing or whatever, that's y'all.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think people really realize what goes on behind the scenes, because you have your car, let's say, and when your car breaks, you go take it to the mechanic. You know car mechanics exist, but when you get on a plane, you don't really think about, hey, what's going on behind the scenes to get this plane up and running.
The behind the scenes front of mind lately. Increased delays, air traffic controller shortages, and nerve-wracking close calls at the height of summer travel, bringing aviation needs to the forefront.
There's a heightened conversation and sense of awareness.
Yeah.
They're thinking about things with respect to aviation that they used to take for granted. And that awareness, again, that spark, as they think about they could be part of that solution, we do hear that.
Now a generational trend meeting the moment and taking off. You carved your own path.
Yeah, with a lot of help at the end of the day.
And for those who may have had their own light bulb moment watching that piece, what we're talking about here is a roughly 2-year program that prepares students for FAA accreditation in the field. AIM, for example, works with all the major U.S. airlines as a pipeline, but there's also opportunity to expand into drones and rockets as that part of the industry grows, creating both more demand but also more opportunity here, too. Back to you.
All right, Ali Vitale, thank you. Very, very cool.
The future of aviation.
We need it. We need it.
That does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us, though. The news continues right now. Good morning. Thanks so much for being here on a Thursday. I'm Savannah Sellers.
And I'm Sam Brock. I'd like to call it Friday Eve, in for Joe Fryer today. Right now on Morning News Now, President Trump continuing to weigh his options this morning over whether to plunge the U.S. into that escalating conflict in the Middle East between Iran and Israel. Our Richard Engel is on the ground in the embattled region as Israel ramps up its offensive, targeting key Iranian nuclear sites. Also this morning, Karen Reed not guilty. More on that stunning verdict in a legal saga that has gripped the nation and the thunderous reaction from supporters outside of the Massachusetts courthouse. Plus, a powerful new drug that could prove to be a game changer for folks living with HIV. But doctors want patients to know this morning about the breakthrough treatment just given the green light by the FDA. And later in the hour, celebrating Juneteenth across America, the people honoring Black history and culture amid the Trump administration's sweeping cutbacks on diversity initiatives from coast to coast. We begin this morning in Israel, where the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem is directing all employees to continue sheltering in place right now. This coming as Iran is once again launching deadly missile strikes on Israel in retaliation for attacks targeting its nuclear program. So paramedics, Savannah, say that there are at least 25 casualties after Iranian missiles struck residential districts buildings, in a district near Tel Aviv. And in the south, at least 3 other people were injured after a strike that hit a hospital in Beersheba. Iran says it was aiming for a military site nearby.
Meanwhile, the Israeli military says it struck a nuclear development site in Iran overnight. This is the latest effort in their stated goal to prevent the country from producing nuclear weapons. Now, the conflict is nearing the end of its first week, but as fighting intensifies, a true end to this appears out of reach, at least for now. NBC News chief international correspondent Richard Engel is following the developments from Israel.
There was an intense Iranian missile attack overnight, more powerful than in previous days. And this hospital was one of the locations that was hit. As you can see, it is still intact, but it did sustain some damage.
Dozens of Iranian ballistic missiles rained down across Israel this morning. Sirens wailed as Israeli air defense systems sprung into action. But at least 4 of Iran's powerful missiles made it through. The Soroka hospital in Beersheba in southern Israel took a direct hit, according to Israeli officials. The impact captured on a cell phone video. Inside, staff and security moved to evacuate patients and search for injured, with sections of the ceiling on the floor. Israel's defense minister called it a war crime, and Prime Minister Netanyahu saying, "We will exact the full price from the tyrants in Tehran." There were no deaths reported, but several injured. Iran said it was aiming for a military site near the hospital. Another missile exploded in Ramat Gan outside Tel Aviv, hitting a business district. And more buildings in nearby Holon. Search and rescue teams arriving quickly.
We have 5 buildings that were hit by the missile. We have one which is the main building and all the other ones surrounding it.
Israel is continuing its strikes across Iran to pick apart the country's military, destroying these Iranian helicopters and missile launchers and nuclear sites. But some nuclear facilities are buried so deeply only American bunker busters can reach them. Yuli Edelstein chairs the Israeli Parliament's Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee.
Is the main issue this super bomb that the United States possesses? Is that really the main capacity that the U.S. has that Israel would like to have?
In dry military terms, the answer would be yes. They have the capacity with less effort to get rid of one of the Iranian nuclear sites. We are not saying that we won't try to find our own ways to deal with that. With the United States, it could be much easier and faster.
Israeli strikes in Iran are continuing to focus on the country's nuclear program. Israeli jets once again struck Natanz and even hit an unused nuclear reactor so that Iran would never be able to restart it.
All right, Richard, thank you.
So President Trump clearly continuing to weigh his options when it comes to Iran. That includes a potential U.S. strike on Iranian nuclear facilities. So far, no final decision has been made, but the U.S. is moving more military assets into the region. NBC News senior White House correspondent Garrett Haake joining us with the latest developments. Garrett, what do we know this morning?
Well, Sam, the president says he's keeping U.S. options open for a strike until the last possible second amid fast-moving developments in this conflict. But now, as you said, the U.S. is surging military assets, including aircraft carriers, into the region. Iran warning of retaliation for any American strike. The timeline for a presidential decision is getting shorter, and the stakes are getting higher. This morning, President Trump remains publicly undecided on whether to order the U.S. military to join Israel's bombardment of Iran.
I may do it, I may not do it.
Telling reporters late Wednesday he's made no final decision on U.S. strikes.
I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change. I mean, especially with war.
And explaining how he'll arrive at what may be a presidency-defining conclusion.
Well, I don't want to get involved either, but I've been saying for 20 years, maybe longer, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And I think they were a few weeks away from having one.
But the United States' own intelligence agencies maintain that Iran has not made a decision to rush towards building an atomic bomb, according to the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee and a source with knowledge of the matter. Overnight, Iran's deputy foreign minister responding to the prospect of an attack from the U.S.
We will do whatever necessary to protect our people and our interests. We have no choice but to retaliate wherever we find the targets necessary to be acted upon.
Israel's airstrikes on Iran have likely already set back the country's nuclear program by a few months, according to two sources with knowledge of the matter. The president huddling with advisors in the Situation Room for a second straight day, and earlier suggesting to reporters he'd given Iran an ultimatum and that the window for a negotiated peace was closing.
Maybe you could call it the ultimate ultimatum, right?
And as the Pentagon moves a second and third aircraft carrier strike group towards the region in response to the ongoing conflict, lawmakers deeply divided on the wisdom of actively joining Israel's attacks on Iran in any capacity, a decision they can influence, but only the president will make.
The American people did not vote last November to be dragged into one more endless war in the Middle East.
So either you want them to have a nuclear weapon or you don't. And if you don't, if diplomacy fails, you use force.
Now, on diplomacy, the president has indicated that the window for negotiations with Iran is closing fast, but isn't yet fully closed. And he also said that unnamed Iranians have been reaching out to him to talk and that they want to do so at the White House, which the Iranian government has strongly denied. The bottom line here, Sam, is that neither Iran or Israel seems particularly interested in coming to the negotiating table right now, meaning there are no substantive talks to be held.
Some tense hours as a result. Garrett Haig for us in Washington. Thank you, Garrett.
Well, this morning, an emotional victory for Karen Reed and her defense team came after a judge announced her acquittal yesterday. A Massachusetts jury found her not guilty of murder in the retrial where she was accused of killing her police officer boyfriend. It comes after nearly 2 months of testimony and more than 3 days of deliberations. NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa has been in Massachusetts throughout the deliberations, and she joins us from outside the courthouse. Hey, Emily, good morning.
Hey there, Savannah. Well, Karen Reed, a former finance professor, was greeted a bit more like a celebrity when she walked down those courthouse steps behind me. The street had to be closed by police to accommodate the crowds of supporters bursting into cheers so loud they could be heard inside the courtroom. It marks a dramatic end to a legal saga that prompted protests, documentaries, and divide. Signaling her love to the crowd, Karen Reed emerging from this Massachusetts courthouse to an eruption of cheers and chants. The jury finding Reed not guilty of killing her police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, a year after her first trial ended with a hung jury.
I could not be standing here without these amazing supporters who have supported me and my team. No one has fought harder for justice for John O'Keefe than I have.
The jury clearing Reed of second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene of a deadly accident.
Defendant not guilty or guilty? So say you, Mr. Foreman? So say you all?
Cheers so loud outside they could be heard in the courtroom, where a tearful Reed embraced her defense team. Overnight, Reed celebrating out in Boston with family and friends.
I'm happy. Thank you.
The 45-year-old was convicted of a lesser charge, driving under the influence. The jury heard interview clips of Reed addressing drinking the night O'Keefe died during the trial.
When I've had a few drinks and I drive, I always do extra smokes, but I shouldn't be driving.
She was sentenced to 1-year probation, in sharp contrast to the life sentence she could have faced if convicted of murder. Reed's family sharing in her relief.
What's the takeaway? Message? Beyond words.
O'Keefe's loved ones left the courthouse without speaking to the media, but the families of several key witnesses who testified against Reed, writing in a statement, "We mourn with John's family and lament the cruel reality that this prosecution was infected by lies and conspiracy theories. The result is a devastating miscarriage of justice." Reed was accused of hitting O'Keefe with her SUV back in 2022 and leaving him to die after a night of drinking. Key piece of evidence prosecutors cited was car data and expert testimony arguing that Reed suddenly accelerated in reverse at the time and location in question. But the defense has insisted there was no collision and that she was the victim of a corrupt police investigation. The lead investigator in the case, Michael Proctor, was fired after lewd text messages about Reed were revealed. He did not take the stand in the Reed trial, but spoke to Dateline's Andrea Canning.
What do you want to say to anyone who believes the narrative, the defense's narrative, that you are corrupt, that you framed Karen Reed?
I laugh because it's such a ridiculous accusation. There's not one piece of evidence or fact to support that.
With security escorting Reed away from her criminal case that's divided Boston and beyond, the now former defendant at the center of a national spectacle, with dedicated fans rooting for her to the end.
You guys flew from Michigan and Florida. How does it feel right now?
I feel so much relief. I can't even imagine how Karen feels.
Well, Reed's time in criminal court has wrapped up. She still faces a civil wrongful death lawsuit filed by the O'Keefe family, but any kind of liability in that case would be a financial one. Guys.
All right, Emily Aketa, thank you so much. We have NBC News Now legal analyst Angela Senadella here with more on the case. Angela, good morning. So the jury ultimately only finding Karen Reed here guilty of operating under the influence, operating that vehicle. I've heard Danny Savalos call this like a very expensive DUI trial at the end of the day here. What do you make here of her sentence of 1 year's probation?
Well, look, this is standard for what they found her guilty of, which is operating under the influence. I mean, she could have been found up to guilty of murder, which would have kept her behind bars for the rest of her life. But look, this was a trial that really has captivated the nation because of how controversial it has been. You have people on both sides arguing so vehemently. And look, in our system, you need a unanimous verdict to convict someone. So it reflects how the public has felt.
Speaking of a lack of unanimity, obviously it's been well documented. There was a hung jury the first time around. How, Angela, does that favor the defense, or might it have in this case, if it did?
So that helped the defense so much. So first of all, 4 of the jurors came forward and confirmed that that jury had acquitted on the biggest charge of murder. The only thing that they were debating was manslaughter. So that allowed the defense to refocus their strategy. They also even had an alternate juror from that first mistrial on their legal team, which obviously gave them a great insight, a real focus group. But really what it did is the first mistrial is really what led to the downfall of their star witness, right? Their lead investigator. So their lead investigator was fired as a result of what came out from that mistrial. And given that the entire defense here is alleging corruption and that there was maybe conspiracy, framing, a cover-up, the fact that investigator wasn't at this current trial helped the defense so much.
Is there anything for police generally, for this department, to learn about what came to light in that investigation? Also, by the way, could the investigation reopen? I mean, because what happens here with an acquittal here is, okay, so what did happen to John O'Keefe?
Right. So they've said that they will not reopen this investigation. But look, new evidence could always come out. And double jeopardy only applies to this defendant. It doesn't apply to anybody else that they might find possibly could have been involved. Now, in terms of what the police could learn, like, every policeman knows not to do what this investigator has been alleged to do, right? So it's really just a question of maintaining the integrity of the investigation and of not involving your suspect or the people that are involved in this in text messages or hanging out with them or, you know, drinking with them, as he was alleged to do.
Angela Senadella, thank you very much. A fascinating one. All eyes have been on this. I don't think that's really an exaggeration. And NBC's Dateline is actually going to be airing a 2-hour special tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on Karen Reed's trial. In it, you can hear more from Michael Proctor and other details of this case.
All right. In other news now, this morning, there is a huge medical breakthrough that could significantly lower HIV transmission in the U.S. So yesterday, the FDA approving a new preventative medication that, Savannah, nearly eliminated the spread of HIV in its clinical trials.
That's right. It's an injection. Actually, it has to be taken every 6 months.
So NBC News medical contributor Dr. Kavita Patel joining us now for more on this. Dr. Patel, obviously always great to see you. Huge news here, right? So the CEO of the company behind this drug said it could, quote, end the HIV epidemic once and for all. How does the new drug work? How is it different from existing treatments that are out there?
Yeah, Sam, this is incredible. So as you heard Savannah mention, twice a year injectable drug, lenacapavir. It works also first in class to actually have a mechanism where it disrupts the HIV protein's suitcase of how it protects its genetic information, the capsid protein. So this is the first treatment that would actually do this. And it's used, as you mentioned, for pre-exposure prophylaxis. That means that this can be used to really essentially prevent HIV transmission with almost 100% reduction rate seen in clinical trials.
Dr. Patel, now that it has FDA approval, what goes on here? What are some of the obstacles people might run into regarding access to the treatments, or could this get easier?
Yeah, Savannah, I like to say FDA approval is an incredibly critical milestone that determines whether something is safe and effective, which the FDA has deemed it is. But accessibility, meaning how people actually get these injections into their arms twice a year, is a little more difficult. I'll give you a statistic. Right now, pre-exposure prophylaxis, there is a daily pill, as you mentioned, and we showed. There's only a 36% uptake on that. That's pretty low. And that's because even though the cost of the pill might be covered by most insurance companies, there are labs, copays for visits, and that can add up, and that could potentially be a barrier here. And then another problem, Savannah, is that we're seeing the decline of HIV prevention clinic funding with some of the takedown of the staff and some of the takedown of the divisions of CDC. That could also play a role in really inhibiting access, especially in the United States. And then finally, global. While Gilead, the company, the manufacturer, has committed to reducing the cost, it's still a hefty price tag, and we have to contend with that. That'll inhibit access too.
Of course, with all other rising costs people are dealing with right now. Dr.
kidding.
Patel, real quickly, the number of folks that are living with HIV in the U.S. topped 1.1 million in 2023, so it's still a relatively large population.
Right.
While there may be some positive potential around this drug, are there any long-term concerns that patients would have to consider?
Yeah, not really. There are some small kind of percentages that had side effects with injections, but that was incredibly small. And then long term, we'll have to see, Sam, if there's a potential for the virus to mutate and change and kind of outsmart the drug. But the mechanism of action means that it's probably not going to be able to do that very easily. So minimal long-term side effects that we know so far.
All right, Dr. Kavita Patel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sam, it's time for me to bring you some sports news.
Yeah, you're wearing the right
I'm going
colors.
to fill you in. One of the most valuable professional sports teams in the world is getting ready to change hands. The Buss family, which has run the Lakers for nearly half a century, is selling a majority stake in the NBA franchise for $10 billion to Mark Walter, who currently owns a minority stake in the team. This is according to multiple sources that confirm that information to NBC News. Walter is also part of an ownership group that has owned MLB's Los Angeles Dodgers since 2012. Before the deal is done, the NBA must sign off on the sale.
Fun fact here, that is the highest valuation for a sports franchise ever. And I could see that was on your brain.
I was going to say that.
You're missing your purple, but yeah. It is finally starting to feel like summer for most of the country today. Speaking of sunshine, let's get a closer look right now what to expect in your area with our Morning News Now weather.
That's right. Michelle Grossman's here in studio with us. Hi, Michelle. Good morning.
Hi there, guys. Great to see you. And yes, we are going to feel like summer all across the country, and we're going to keep this heat in place for quite a while. Even in the Northeast, we may see our first heat wave of the season by early next week. So taking a look at today, the main story today will be the chance for severe storms. We had that cold front. We've been tracking it all week long, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and again today, and it's targeting the East Coast. So we're looking at the chance for some strong storms, especially later on this afternoon into the evening hours. That includes the southeast with some spotty showers and storms, and then very hot in the southwest once again. Dangerous heat. We're looking at temperatures over 100 degrees in many spots. That's going to prompt a fire risk in portions of the west. So we'll talk about that in just a second. But first, we're looking at radar. Not too active right now, but we're looking at a cluster of storms moving throughout the Tennessee Valley into the southeast. We're also looking at rain in the Great Lakes. Again, this is all due to that long long stretching cold front that's going to bring the chance for those storms. That's in addition to the warmth that's in place and the high humidity. The cold front kind of acts as a trigger mechanisms and gets those storms going. We could see some downpours leading to localized flash flooding. We could see anywhere from 1 to 2 inches with a quick downpour. So something to watch very closely later on today. 64 million people at risk for severe weather today. That includes 60-mile-per-hour winds, hail, the chance of a few tornadoes, especially where you see that orange. So major cities like New York, Philadelphia, D.C., Richmond. So important to call ahead of the airports. If you're traveling today, be careful on the roadways if those downpours are coming down. But it's not just that spot. We're looking at Burlington, Albany, D.C., and also Roanoke for the chance of some storms also. So that's the story in terms of the storms. We're looking at a flash flood risk because of those downpours. Again, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches per hour. That is the rainfall rate. And keep in mind, we're really saturated. We've had a ton of rain over the past couple of weeks. It feels like months at this point, and we're going to add to that today. So just something to watch. Dangerous heat. We're looking at 47 million Americans under heat alerts, whether it's an advisory, a heat watch, heat warnings, and we're looking at temperatures soaring into the 100s in the Southwest, and we're going to be near 90 degrees in New York, and it's going to feel hotter than that because of the humidity in place. It's hot.
It feels like there's no Goldilocks scenario here. No. It's either severe weather or sweltering heat.
Yes.
Right. Nothing in the middle.
Yep. Nothing. Yeah, we've missed that part.
And the meteorologists don't get any love on that. You know,
you know you're married to one.
I know I am. And she's like, don't blame me.
You feel the pain.
Guys.
Yeah. Blame the husband.
I feel your pain. Yes. Well, that goes without saying. Welcome to the story of my life. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, well, today marks the 5th year that Juneteenth has been recognized as a federal holiday. And while many Black Americans have long celebrated June 19th to mark the end of slavery in America, some cities are now facing cutbacks to their events in the wake of the Trump administration's attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. NBC News national correspondent Aaron Gilchrist joins us from College Park, Georgia with more. Hey, Aaron, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. Today is going to be filled with block parties and concerts and parades like the one that we know is going to step off here just outside Atlanta a little bit later on this morning. And yes, the banks are closed. There will be no mail delivered today. But the organizers of Juneteenth events say that this is really a day that is all about honoring history, about building community, and about elevating African-American culture. It's a celebration of freedom and family.
Let's love one another.
Black communities across the nation observing Juneteenth today, some already marking the celebration this past week, with parades and lots of food and music.
To still come out here to be in the essence of the culture and stuff is just phenomenal.
To be communal, to celebrating the day.
It's like we celebrate 4th of July, Juneteenth is the same thing as that.
On June 19, 1865, in the waning days of the Civil War, the last enslaved people learned about their freedom when Union soldiers reached Galveston, Texas, announcing the Emancipation Proclamation President Lincoln had signed 2.5 years before. In 2021, then-President Biden made Juneteenth a federal holiday with Opal Lee by his side. The now 98-year-old activist spent decades working to make Juneteenth a national observance.
It is a community and a family type of holiday.
Harvard professor Annette Gordon-Reed wrote the book on Juneteenth. How do you encourage people to celebrate the holiday?
To use it as a day for young people to think about their family history and maybe interview older members of their family and sort of keep the chain together.
With major American companies following the Trump administration's lead and rolling back diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, some Juneteenth events this year had to press on without big backers.
But this is a holiday that we can celebrate on our own, and we should continue whether we're sponsored or not.
The organizer of Atlanta's Juneteenth Parade and Music Festival says that hurdle is not a roadblock.
This event stands on freedom. Freedom for everyone, everywhere, all the time.
Now, even with that downsizing, there will still be art shows and community picnics and pageants all over the country today. And Savannah, we've also learned that Galveston, Texas will host former President Biden at its Juneteenth event later on tonight. This is at a church where we know there's a long history of this movement toward, from slavery toward freedom. Savannah?
All right, Aaron Gilchrist. Yeah, important report. Thank you.
A major anomaly leading to disaster for SpaceX overnight. What the company says was behind this latest explosion during a routine test. That story next. We're back now with dramatic images out of Texas following a SpaceX rocket test. The company says the Starship experienced a, quote, major anomaly during a test last night at SpaceX's launch site, sending a fireball high into the sky. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello brings us all the details.
Yeah, this has not been a good year for Elon Musk or SpaceX. The latest explosion is yet another setback for Musk's lifelong quest to send humans to Mars. But more immediately, NASA needs Starship to get to the moon. Whoa! In the skies over South Texas overnight, a massive fireball after a SpaceX rocket exploded during a static rocket test, a ground test for an upcoming launch.
Ship 36 just blew up. Ship 36 just blew up.
SpaceX, led by Elon Musk, said the Starship rocket experienced a major anomaly while preparing for its 10th flight test, adding that all personnel are safe and there are no hazards to residents in surrounding communities. The explosion rattled nearby residents who posted videos on social media. One telling My San Antonio News, quote, our whole neighborhood felt it. It shook all of our houses. Starship is critical to Musk's mission to send humans to the moon and one day Mars.
Making life multiplanetary or extending life to Mars, the idea there is to ensure the long-term survival of life and consciousness.
But Starship has faced a number of setbacks this year, including 3 explosions. Last month, during Starship's 9th uncrewed test flight, the vessel broke apart over the Indian Ocean after losing control upon re-entering the Earth's atmosphere.
What is that, like a meteor shower?
And in January and March, just minutes into test flights 7 and 8, another disaster.
There it is. Boom. Oh, my God.
The rocket spun out of control, breaking into pieces and raining debris across the sky over the Caribbean Ocean, disrupting commercial air travel for nearly an hour. But Musk views the incidents with optimism.
With each launch, especially in the early days of Starship, each launch is about learning more and more about what's needed to make life multiplanetary and to improve Starship to the point where it can be taking ultimately hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people to Mars.
Yeah, Starship is a massive project, high stakes here. NASA, of course, banking on it to get to the moon and eventually maybe Mars. But these high-profile setbacks come in a turbulent year for the world's richest man. A very public falling out with President Trump after Musk was put in charge of efforts to slash government spending and jobs. And Tesla sales have fallen worldwide, particularly in Europe, because he's become so polarizing. At one point, Tesla stock was down 60%. It's recovered. It's now down about 20% so far this year. Back to you.
Yeah, pretty rough stretch there for Elon. Thank you, Tom.
All right, let's get you some international news now. Air India is scaling back international flights after last week's deadly crash.
NBC's Matt Bodner joining us now with that and other world headlines this morning. Hi, Matt.
Sam, Savannah, good morning. Air India says that it is curtailing its international service by 15% as it grapples with the aftermath of last week's devastating Boeing 787 crash. The airline said in a statement that it is updating its operating procedures following that crash and has mandated what it calls, quote, enhanced safety inspections across its entire fleet of 33 787 aircraft. 26 of the planes have already passed these inspections and been cleared to return to service. As a matter of precaution, the airline says all of its 777 fleet will undergo similar recertification. Moving along now to Argentina, tens of thousands of people took to the streets of Buenos Aires in support of former President Cristina Fernandez. The former president began serving a 6-year sentence under house arrest on corruption charges. She's also been hit with a lifetime ban from public office. She has vowed this will not end her political career. Fernandez is seen as the face of the opposition to radical libertarian president Javier Milei. And we'll wrap up this hour right here in the UK. A dairy farm in northeast England has decided to stop milking its cows. Instead, to pay the bills, they're now charging visitors to cuddle with the cows. The farm is called Dumble Farm. It's been in operation since the 1970s, but business has not been good of late. The farm's co-owner, Fiona Wilson, said, quote, the amount of flooding and pressures on our land were just making it unsustainable for us to carry on. I honestly don't know if cows are the most cuddly animals, but I've definitely heard worse ideas to save a faltering business. Okay. Back to you guys.
First of all, I could literally hear the control room cracking up when you just said you don't know if they're cuddly. Okay, the pictures and videos of people, though, they seem cuddly. Who knew?
It seems to be going well.
They're like all, it's actually,
I don't know if they're cuddly because I've never cuddled with a cow before. It's an immersive experience.
That's it.
I'm going to say it. I would for sure do it.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Why not?
Okay,
when in
good.
Rome.
Right.
When in the UK.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Coming up next, your next therapist might soon have a little help from AI.
When Morning News Now returns, we'll take you inside a new hybrid therapy model developed by one company that claims it's already helping millions of Americans with their mental health. But could it replace a professional? We're going to ask about that. That's up next.
And we're back now with a closer look at what's making news in the world of politics this morning. We start with a return to our top story today, of course, the Israel-Iran conflict in the Middle East.
That's right. We have NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin joining us from Washington with all the latest here. Hey, Julie, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. Here's a look at some of the top political headlines. First, a closer look at this morning's top story. As you mentioned, Iran. Democrats are demanding that President Trump consult Congress on any military action in that country. Several of them told us at NBC News that it's his constitutional obligation to do so. Remember, it's Congress, not the president, that has the power to declare war. But as expected, most Republicans are supportive of Trump so far. And early next week, senators will finally get a classified briefing on the situation there for the first time since Israel attacked Iran's nuclear sites. And speaking of Congress, they've been a little busy lately. Republicans are racing to meet Trump's July 4th deadline to pass his so-called one big beautiful bill to fund his campaign priorities. But Republicans aren't on the same page yet about changes to Medicaid that could impact millions of Americans or certain tax provisions. The president's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, dialed up the pressure yesterday, telling Senate Republicans behind closed doors they have to get it done next week. And finally, who is commemorating Juneteenth? Well, not President Trump. The White House signaling Trump has no plans to honor the federal holiday. President Biden, meanwhile, will attend a celebration at Reedy Chapel in Galveston, Texas. The chapel calls itself the birthplace of Juneteenth, as President Biden signed a Republican-led bill, remember, to make Juneteenth a federal holiday and commemorate the end of slavery in the U.S. That was back in 2021. And that is a look at what is making news in politics this morning. Guys.
All right, Julie, thank you so much for that.
Well, now let's take a step into the future, sort of, with a look at what our next guest describes as the world's first artificial intelligence hybrid therapy model. And this is an exclusive first look at this.
An exclusive and years in the making. So you can see a bit of how the program looks right here. The model has been developed by the company Anonymous Health. They claim it incorporates an AI assistant that works directly with licensed therapists to help patients across the U.S. battle addiction and mental health issues.
And we have the CEO and co-founder of Anonymous Health, Jeff Nudd, here for more. Jeff, good morning. Thank you again for giving us this exclusive look. I'm absolutely fascinated by the work that you're doing. As Sam said, a long time in the making. 12 years you were working on this model. And I think people will be a little maybe hesitant to latch onto the idea of an AI therapist in any way. But what you're actually doing, right, is like AI is kind of like training with someone's therapist. Explain how that works, how it works behind the scenes and what it looks like for a patient.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, addiction is arguably the #1 health problem in the United States. 1 in 6 U.S. adults is struggling with addiction, which means it affects just about every family, certainly every community. And our solution combines a world-class full clinical care model with an AI therapist assistant that supports the therapist during the session. So we're not just talking about helping the therapist with documentation, but our therapist assistant will actually carry the weight for 5, 10, 15 minutes, running through therapy exercises, things like mindfulness, content. So for that 5-10 minutes, it's actually supporting the therapist. Huge impact in an environment where we have a lot of therapist burnout, and we're losing folks that can help to this population. And then third, helping patients at times of risk. And what do we mean by that? Maybe, for somebody that's struggling with alcohol, 2 o'clock in the morning tends to be when they wake up and their mind is going. They're thinking about that thing that's happening at work or with their family or some past trauma, and that's when they grab the painkillers. Well, there's no way that a therapist can reach out every night at 2 o'clock and help, but AI can. And it's having just an enormous impact on patients' recovery outcomes and therapist burnout.
Okay, so you've outlined one of the main questions. This is supplemental. It's not a replacement for actual human interaction. And you said off hours, someone might just want feedback. But what's the level of trust I would really want to know for patients when they access this kind of technology? It's not a real person.
Well, I'm so glad you asked that, because you're right. It's not a real person. And if you think about how AI interacts with patients, in the wild independently, there are real concerns about. Just a few weeks ago, saw a story about how some of these LLMs being used for therapy are being sycophantic. They're telling people what they want to hear. And that's great if you're trying to keep somebody engaged, not so good if you're trying to help people get better. And that's why our approach of integration to a full clinical model, what do I mean by that? I mean one-to-one therapists, nurses that are prescribing medications to help with cravings or anxiety or depression, peer support. So a world-class clinical model with the AI therapist assistant. And that therapist assistant is acting at the direction of the therapist. The therapist is telling it, hey, I want you to do this kind of screening so we can measure how you're doing. I want you to run through this ABC thought record exercise that's going to help you reframe some of the negative things that are going on. So it's actually content directed by the therapist, not just an LLM in the wild. And so profound impact on helping that therapist carry some of the weight. But then we're seeing extraordinary patient outcomes as well.
Okay, let's talk about outcomes. Here's a stat. Your company says you're achieving 60% rates of abstinence at the 6-month mark. That is more than twice the rate of traditional approaches. Do you attribute that success to the assistance of AI, to what it is sort of allowing the therapist to be able to accomplish?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's two really big drivers. One is we make it possible so that when somebody needs help, they get kind of a bear hug from our clinical team all at once. So they're not trying to piece together a solution. They're getting the therapist, they're getting the peer support, they're getting the medications that can help with things like cravings. So it's that full clinical model, and that's part of the driver of the outcome. But then it's all those touch points in between appointments that really are having an impact. And where we're seeing that make an impact is things like show-up rates at appointments, particularly in the low-income population. Our show-up rate at appointment is 40% higher than industry averages. So if you can keep people engaged, if you can keep people showing up at their appointments, it has a profound impact.
That is incredible. And also, I'm struck by something you said at the very beginning of this interview, that there are so many families, I think you said 1 in 5, 1 in 6, that are affected by addiction. And when that does happen, and many of us can relate to this, friends, family, everyone gets involved, right? So there's a lot of human interaction.
That's exactly
It affects everybody. And yet, are people at all concerned about placing their trust, even if it's supplemental, in the technology aspect of this versus the empathy that you get from friends and from family?
I don't think it will ever replace the empathy from friends and family. I don't think that's the job it's going to do. But I do think it helps the therapists carry some of the load, and I think it helps the patients at those times when maybe their family can't be there. And I'll take just a moment to talk about the therapist burden. I had a therapist a couple of weeks ago tell me, Jeff, I'm listening to 6 sad stories a day. My day is organized into a 50-minute burst with a patient, 7-minute break, and then do it all over again. And these are really tough stories for folks that have, say, addiction and are using that to cope. And having 7-10 minutes where the therapist assistant, the AI therapist assistant, is actually carrying some of that weight, times 6 appointments per day, can make the difference between that therapist saying, you know what, I just can't keep doing this anymore. I have to drop out of the workforce. You know what, I used to be able to see 25 patients every week. Now I can only see 15. And so the impact on therapist burnout is profound and ultimately extends to hundreds of patients over time.
Something I think many of us wouldn't have even thought of, the trickle-down effect of this.
Jeff, really incredible work. And it's neat when we can talk about these ways that AI seems to be having a really positive impact. We should say, while we're talking about this, if you or someone you know needs help, please call 988, the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Jeff, thank you so much.
Yes,
great to meet you. Great to have you with us. Coming up, we are finally getting into the swing of summer, so we thought it'd be a good time to talk about what we're wearing to the office.
Just a little refresher, Savannah. After the break, the do's and don'ts of fashion for your 9 to 5 this season, including something called a protest slop. I don't know what that is. There's also a sports. You're going to have to explain to me about sports. That definitely is not what you're going to be wearing. Coming up next, we'll have much more. There's never a bad time to have this conversation. Savannah, dressing in the workplace. You know, a deep dive into office fashion. A lot of things have never been the same since the pandemic, and that includes what's considered appropriate office attire.
That is true. As more companies ask employees to return to the office, it might be time to think about updating your wardrobe. So to help us out, the writers at the Washington Post have put out a new list. It's called the 39 Definitive Rules of Office Fashion. They say the work from home years, coupled with the arrival of Gen Z as a dominant force in fashion trends, have scrambled our long-held ideas about what to wear.
Why am I not surprised Gen Z had something to do with this? For more on the conversation, let's bring in one of the authors of that report, Ashley Fetters-Malloy. She's a fashion and culture reporter for the Washington Post. We are also joined by Mr. Manners himself, Thomas P. Farley. He is an etiquette expert, a friend of the show, of course. Thank you both for joining us. We really appreciate it. Ashley, so many directions we could go with this. Let's start with you.
No, you know, Ashley, where I think we need to start? No. Sam asked me, what is a skirt?
Just curious minds want to know.
Absolutely. Let's start there. Skirt is a women's fashion that we borrowed from tennis wear. It's a skirt with shorts underneath. So very cute little portmanteau there. We decided that the rule on wearing one to the office was that your shorts need to be fully concealed by the skirt, and it can't be too short or made of performance fabrics, like something you would actually wear on a tennis court.
Because like sometimes they're like skirt in the front, short in the back, and she's saying that's a no-no. Anyway, continue.
Business in the front, party in the back, really. Okay. So
exactly.
What
we need to do business all around.
Is kind of a double-edged sword, I would ask, of business casual, where you have so many different options, so many directions you can go. What are some of the big changes in terms of like the modern office dress code and what's considered acceptable?
Absolutely. So yes, like you said, we're 25 years into the 21st century, worth updating these norms for all of us. Some of the bigger changes, I would say, are elastic waistbands are, according to us, encouraged, but acceptable at the office. Showing a little bit of toe is okay, as long as it's not your whole foot or something you wear to the beach. Jeans are no longer just for Fridays. Backpacks are the new briefcases. I think we all got the memo about sort of the ergonomic benefits of having both straps on our shoulders. There's lots to choose from here. But
I like it's fine to show a little toe.
A little.
Different definition of flesh. Thomas, yeah.
Let's bring you in here because I think people might be hearing this, but maybe they're confused. Like, how do I know what is appropriate in my workplace? Or, I really like what I was wearing. It was more comfortable. How can you understand the right way to dress for your job?
Yes, Savannah, this is so true. And I think a big part of this is as many companies, even pre-pandemic, adapted to a business casual workplace wardrobe. The guidelines are very vague. And so I do workshops around the country on dressing for success. And one of the key issues is, especially in the summer where the standards definitely drop, is that there's this standard business casual, but it's not defined. What does that mean? So it's really left to the discretion of the employee. So if you have concerns, look to how the bosses are dressing. Look to how the people you admire are dressing. And chances are they're dressing a little bit a notch above what that standard dress code is. And we don't see as many infractions in the C-suite. If we want to be in the C-suite, let's dress like them.
Thomas, a quick follow-up on that. Yeah, dress for success. But like, what is this idea of a protest slob? What is that?
So there's this concept that people were working from home and able to be very comfortable and happily wearing their slippers and their pajamas. In some senses, we were seeing this much of them. Now suddenly they're being dragged back to the office, and so this concept of protest slob is that I don't want to be there, so I'm going to dress like I'm home anyway. And this is my way of saying I'd rather be home working in my comfy clothing rather than being in the office.
And Ashley, we're seeing that enough that you literally coined that term.
Yes, that was someone. We were very proud of that one, actually. But yeah, it's a problem that we see in not everywhere, but in a few places. Just people saying, "I'm doing the same job I could do at home, so I'm going to wear the same things I was going to do at home." I don't think it should fly in the workplace. I think it's just, it's a signal that you're maybe not taking your job seriously.
And I'm so sorry for the misattribution on that, by the way. That was your protest stuff. Can you walk us through some of your favorite rules from this list that people should know?
Absolutely. So one of my other favorites is, I know this might not make me any friends here, but I I think performance fabrics are maybe not for the office. I think you can do better. I think you can do better at places to wear your performance fabrics and also what to wear to the office. I know that includes a very popular office style that really only gained some traction during the pandemic, but the office quarter zip. If you're going to wear a quarter zip to the office, it should be made of wool or kind of a natural fiber. One of these performance fabrics, if it has like sweat wicking technology or has a UPF number on it, maybe that's something you use for your trail run and not your office.
I feel like the finance bros have been rocking the half zip.
I feel like it shouldn't be our gold standard necessarily, but
that was for my husband. Thomas, quickly, in your opinion, why is an office dress code important?
It's vital. So the office is where we're meeting clients. It's where we're being for possible promotions. The way you present yourself to the world, especially in an office, speaks to your credibility and your attention to detail. And if your wardrobe is not reflecting that, we're going to suspect that your work product may not either.
Wow.
I feel like I got a full course on what is and is not acceptable. But it is important. It's how people, judge you first impressions. Thomas, Ashley, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it.
That was awesome.
Thank you both.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.